Hello, we are here with Seth Killian once again from Capcom. They're owning the show. Yesterday we had Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Today, Tekken Cross Street Fighter, which Street Fighter Cross Tekken. My bad. Street Fighter Cross Tekken. You guys, we intentionally booked it today because we knew some stuff was going to get revealed, and it did. So Seth, tell us what you guys broke here.
Well, we've got a lot of new stuff, but first and foremost has got to be the characters. So representing Tekken, Steve Fox, the Stinging Hook, great boxer from the Tekken franchise. He's joined by Yoshimitsu, one of my very personal favorite characters in the game. Crazy metallic ninja. He's spraying poison gas on your face and spinning around until he falls over and committing suicide. And if that doesn't sound like your kind of character, I don't know. Then I guess you could try some of our Capcom guys. We've got Dalsim, of course, returning. He's familiar to many,
yes.
But with a lot of new tricks here in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And brand new as a playable character, but definitely part of the Street Fighter past is Poison.
Also familiar to many people, but in another way.
Yes. She is what she is. Is she a he? Is she a she? She's awesome, regardless. Yeah. And she's all full of whips and slapping and all sorts of nasty stuff. So a lot of fun.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. She first appeared on the Saturn and the Titan arcade board, right? In Final Fight Revenge?
Final Fight, yes. She was. I believe she was in the original Final Fight.
Well, as a playable fighter.
As a playable fighter, yes. Sorry, you're correct, yes.
And of course, back then, the big thing was she did use a pole, I believe, in her Enton. Is the pole back?
The pole is not currently back. We have the little whip.
Okay,
but,
it's a start.
The game is in development. We'll see where she ends up.
Okay. All right, so this is the latest version of the game. You guys have obviously been taking fan feedback into account, not only by the character choices, but gameplay's changed up quite a bit since we first saw it a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Do you want to let us know some of the fine-tuning that's been going on?
Well, there's been a bunch, from things down to the way the moves work and the way we cancel into the launchers. Of course, the game is built around a basic tag mechanic, bringing in your teammates. And again, if either one of your teammates loses all their life, you've lost the round. So you have to keep switching dynamically. So we've changed that up to be sort of more free and fun. One of the new features we have in this build is, yes, a ridiculous mechanic, cross rush attack, basically where you can decide to burn your meter at any time. Your meter turns into a timer and it counts down, but what happens is both of your characters appear on screen at one time, and you can control them both. So you do a move with one, and then it will flash to the other character and you can control them, so you can jump to the other opposite sides of your opponent, start putting them into a little back and forth punching bag. It's really ridiculous. I believe we're seeing it right now. Very ridiculous, very powerful technique, and that's a lot of fun. And on down to some really small things as well. People had some trouble with the life bars in earlier builds. We got a lot of feedback just from bringing it out to shows and letting people play it. Said we can't really read the life bars, it's not too clear yet. So we were able to go right at that and make an adjustment just directly based on that feedback.
Now, got to see Dalsim. This is kind of a versus game, and Dalsim in the versus games tends to get a little crazy. I recall very fondly my almost entire full-screen flame in X-Men vs. Street Fighter. So, how is he in this one?
He's actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because he's sort of dead in the middle from like a traditional Street Fighter and X-Men vs. Street Fighter, a very, very crazy game with an almost full-screen flame. Now he's got about like a mid-screen flame, like a half-screen flame. He's got chain combos up close, of course, obviously his long limbs and teleports and all that. So very formidable right now. Not the most obvious addition, but really controls space from across the screen, and he's been a lot of fun.
All right, now, just like you all listen to fan feedback, we do as well. We have a list of questions culled from some very enthusiastic people around the office and on the forums, so I'm going to throw a bunch of them at you.
Let's do it.
Answer as many as you can, and try and at least, if you're going to evade some, at least be creative about it. So here we go. Will there be a move that players can use to force their opponent to switch characters like the snapbacks in MVC3?
Yes, snapbacks. So that's something we've been thinking about and playing with. Right now, we haven't had anything like that in a playable version of the game. It's just really a strong technique, especially because if you can, it's not like in Marvel where if you kill off a character, the next character just comes in. Again, if you kill off either of the characters, they're dead. So right now, the snapback has been a little too strong and maybe may come back in some sort of different form, but not right now. But it is the kind of thing we're thinking about.
All right. Will 4 players be able to play simultaneously like in Mortal Kombat?
Can we tell the fact that I'm like smiling, I'm grinning like a Cheshire cat and saying, wow, that would be a fun feature, wouldn't it?
So I think we're on feed right now out to the internet, and I'm telling you, he's just smiling and he's looking very sly. It's not quite as creative as I was hoping about the whole evasive thing, but good enough.
I'll try harder.
Will there be an offensive-defensive technique similar to Third Strike's parry or Street Fighter 4's focus attack?
Nothing like that right now. So we're trying to keep the mechanics sort of emphasizing the sort of traditional offense and things like that. Not basically the new mechanic in this one is what we call the tag canceling. So you can tag in at any time by burning a meter. You can cancel any move into a tag. And that keeps a lot of creative possibilities, but it's not difficult to execute because you can do it anytime you're touching the opponent, any special move you're doing, anything like that. You can just go straight into it. So it's really sort of effortless, and we'd like to do that rather than go towards sometimes some of those more complicated mechanics that put off a lot of the new players. This is something you can use creatively, while it's also something anybody can do.
All right. Can we expect PC and/or arcade release for this game?
Very good question. Nothing like that planned right now.
At least until Street Fighter Cross Tekken Arcade Edition.
There we go.
Let's see. Are all the stages tiered? Will they have multiple levels?
Right now, that's been the direction they've been going with a lot of the new stages, but it's sort of a split. So some of the stages are all one stage where there'll be some features that change from round to round. Some things will pop up in the background. Others will have not just one stage, but two. Others have actually 3 tiers if you get to a third round. So it's just a variation. It depends on the stage design and concept, and we're leaving it up to the artists.
All right. Can we expect all the same online functions as in Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition?
Well, they're not letting us talk about all the online features just yet.
You see he's smiling.
Let me say, the plan is to raise the bar in every aspect of the online experience, in features, in terms of gameplay, quality online, every aspect. So I hope to have something that's going to make everyone very happy very soon.
All right. We have seen some characters charge up special attacks. How exactly does that work?
So it's different for every character. Every character has one basically special that they can charge. And the longer you hold the button, it turns into sort of an EX version of the move. And then you hold it down for about 3 seconds, it turns into a super move. And that takes no meter, so that's nice. It's also nice for new players to be able to do it. It's not something that you're going to get hit by as a good player. People aren't going to be doing this to you. If you see someone charging up a special move for 3 seconds and you're just, wait, what's that guy doing? I better go stand there and not block. Yeah, so you're not going to get hit by that, but you just hold down the button. You can actually use it in some of the advanced tag combos to get away with some special EX moves without burning any meter. So there are clever uses for it. And even things like throwing a fireball, like if you hold down Ryu's fireball and just let it charge up, it'll eventually become super. But you can also do it for tricky stuff, where you just hold it down for just a brief second. It's still a normal fireball, but when you thought Ryu was going to throw it, he's now waited just a little split second, thrown it. So maybe he can screw up your timing if you're trying to jump over.
Good subtle stuff. And a real great question, what more can you tell us about the game's single-player content, such as the story mode and training modes?
You know, I'm going to have to actually do this. So training mode, we're anticipating a very robust training mode, I can say that at least. The story mode, as you know, I'm not the biggest story nerd as far as Street Fighter goes. I'm definitely the gameplay nerd, and I actually have a file with the story sitting at my desk, and we haven't opened it. And I got asked about this before by a fan, and I still haven't opened the story. I need to. There will be a story. I couldn't tell you what it is. Is it going to be, you know, the world's greatest literature? We'll see. Who knows? Maybe Street Fighter and Tekken are what needed to come together to finally have an amazing story mode. But we know there's been a lot of interest in more story mode features, so the team's looking at that right now.
All right, and then just looking at fan reaction so far, has there been anything that stood out to you about how the game's being received, or any feedback the folks are giving you that is giving you pause and possible thought to include?
Well, that was last time. Everyone was having fun, but universally they were like, I don't like the life bars, we can't read them. Mm-hmm. So we did actually change that, and again, we're very happy to be able to do stuff like that quickly. But right now, I have this other weird nervousness where it's like the internet and all the fighting game fans are, if anything, great at telling you exactly what they hate, which I love. But the reception has been eerily good for this game, which is making me actually nervous. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
They're like saving it up.
Someone paying me off, or yeah, they're going to save it up and just explode with hatred later. But right now, everybody's been having a really good time, and it is a fun game to just pick up and play. So people are just experimenting and having fun. It's a good game to just get in there and mash some buttons, and then figure out some really impressive combos as you go from there.
Yeah, now as we've seen, the character select screen keeps getting bigger. That rock seems to be gaining mass on the sides, and it's building out. So we are, I believe there should still be some characters to come.
Oh, well, we only have 2 spaces left on the rock.
Technically.
Yeah, but actually the rock is meaningless. It's going to be a much bigger select screen. We got a lot more characters to come. Again, some surprises, some people you might expect, but definitely a few surprises in there as well. And a lot more action to come on the character front. We're really proud of how big we're anticipating this game's roster to be.
And let's talk about the character front for a second. You know, roster slots being very valuable. What's the thought process behind picking them? Because after all, Poison, perhaps a huge following in certain circles, not so many in others. So interesting choice. Tell us how those are being made.
You know, Poison.
Is it a dartboard or?
I have to say, it was one of my personal favorites. So I was pushing for Poison early on.
So it's your fault.
I wouldn't say it's my fault, but I'm a fan. I wanted to see it back as a playable character. That's not probably the right term. Whatever she is.
Yes.
I think she's just awesome. But basically, it comes down to a matter of you got to have a few of your favorites and the big stars, the marquee characters. But as far as Tekken goes, or as Namco goes, they've been giving us full free reign, so we can do whatever we want. We sort of let them know what's going on, but it's not, you have to put this guy in or something like that. You know, Harada-san made a few requests, and we're interested in that, but it's really all Capcom's call. So we made a choice on a few sort of marquee star characters, but then from there it goes into gameplay, a little bit of freshness. So you want some surprising characters, people that maybe haven't had a chance to be in a game in a while, so get those guys back as a piece of fan service. And then just some of our favorites, like guys we just think are awesome, because that's, what drives this whole team is they really, really love fighting games. They really, really love what they're doing. And so you want everyone motivated to really do their best by having some of the characters they feel most strongly about in the game.
And so far, we've just seen humans. Although, obviously, in this stage, we saw Alex in the back. We know that the Tekken roster includes a small offshoot that basically amounts to a zoo. So, will there be possibly bears? Will there be wooden robots? Will there be things of that nature? Are you guys sticking straightly? Yeah, you guys sticking strictly with dudes and ladies and the poisons?
I'll say this: the zoo is open for business. We are not anthrocentric where it's got to be all humans. So ready to let that freak flag fly, and anybody is welcome in the crazy crossover that is Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
All right, well there you go. That and hey, we've got a friend in the background. Is the I don't see her raccoon.
Yeah, well, maybe the raccoon will be coming later.
Or maybe he's playable.
She's shouting.
I want to start
playable
rumors.
Raccoon confirmed. Yeah.
There you go. We got to give the kids something at home. All right.
Keep hope alive.
I think this is what we got right now for Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Thank you very much, Seth. The game is looking fantastic. We want more characters, more stuff, so be sure and give it to us as soon as you can.
Thank you. Having tournaments every day, it's been a great reaction on the show floor, so come by and play.
So for fans that are hungering for more,
yes.
When will they officially see stuff on the game in the months to come? Are there any shows you want to direct them to keep an eye on, or should we just look for leaks?
What? Dang internet. We will be at the EVO World Championships next week, I believe.
More characters, or this?
We'll see. Maybe have some surprises in store there. But from there, I mean, we've got PAX. We're going to be at PAX in a big way.
Maybe more characters.
Gamescom. Yeah, somewhere in the next not too long time frame, we're going to have a lot more to say about this game. And not just new characters, but new crazy mechanics. So really, there's going to be a lot happening in this game for fighting game fans. So keep your eyes peeled. And
it goes without saying that because this is being made in Japan, in the motherland, we can expect big things at TGS?
Oh, yes. They don't like to go small at TGS.
All right, well then there you go.